Greetings, greetings, greetings. Greetings, everybody. I hope that. When's the last time I did a car cam? It's been a while, right? I know it's been a while since I did a car cam. But we're doing one. One thing about these car cams, they don't have too much trouble going live at all. At all do they have too much trouble going live. I titled this What's Next? What's next? And let me tell you why I call this What's Next. I call this What's Next because a lot of people see things happen. I'm just waiting for a few more people to come on in the chat room. How you doing, Sister KT? That's my sister up in St. Mary's. Hope everything's going well with you. I titled this What's Next? What's Next? And I'll tell you why I titled this What's Next in just a minute. I call this What's Next because every time we watch the news and we see big events happening, a lot of times we tend to look for prophetic prophecy as if something next is about to happen. What's next? What's next? We sit and watch with anticipation. We sit and watch with some with hopes, some with doubt, some with grief. And we ask ourselves, what's next? What's next going to happen? What's next? And with an era of technology, that's what we're in right now, the era of information technology, what we tend to do is look in places for information to answer that question, what's next, instead of reading the book. All we have to do is simply read the book. Read the book. It's the greatest book on earth. It's still a top seller. It's still a top seller. That book is valuable, and I don't care where you go at, you can still find it. And it's called the Bible. It's called the Bible. And when we look at the events that unfolded in Washington, D.C., I'm sure people want to know what's next. What does this mean? I want you to roll back with me to when I was just a little boy. I was just a little boy. I don't even remember. I don't even, to be honest, because I'm a military brat, I don't even know if we were in the United States. But let me just say this. Could you imagine living during the time when John F. Kennedy was assassinated as the President of the United States of America? And then Malcolm X making the statement, the chickens have come home to roost? Could you imagine living in that era of time and they having Facebook, and if they had Twitter, and if they had Twitch and all of that YouTube back then? Could you imagine what everybody would be doing if they were living in the time that the president was the Islamic Nation of Islam community? Right away, they thought, well, it's going down. It's going down. And we have a few folks that stormed the Capitol, and we want to look and try to attach a problem to it. Brothers and sisters, read the book. Just read the book. Simply read the book. And you'll be at ease. And the quake, a tsunami, a hurricane, a volcano, right away, a forest fire. Let me tell you, if you think about it, in the past, just look in the past few years, I'm going back to 2018, 2019, 2020. Just look the past 36 months. The past 36 months. If you're still asking yourself the question, what next, without reading the book, then you're going to be in a world of panic, a world of chaos, a world of confusion, because you're simply not reading the book. Now, I know everybody in the chat room, I know you all are readers. You all read the book. You open up the book. So mainly this might be for other folk who just running around like a chicken with the head cut off. It's going down. Y'all know that's one of my favorite words. When I see every time somebody gets disrupted, it's going down. Do y'all remember when they had those forest fires out in California back in 2018 when they had the forest fires and all those big homes was getting burnt up and everybody started to attach a plague to it? Do y'all remember over in the Middle East at the beginning, I think it was in maybe the summer of 2018, maybe the summer of 2019. I think it was the summer of 2019. And over in Mecca and Jerusalem and all over there in the Middle East, they had millions of locusts that just swarmed through the area. Y'all remember? Going down. Let me just tell you what to look for. Let me just tell you what the book says. When the disciples showed the Messiah all of those buildings and how fabulous they all looked, and first of all, you got to understand why they showed him the temple and all of those buildings, because they thought a revolt was going to take place. They thought that they were building an army to overtake Rome, who was in charge at that time. That's what they thought. They thought that the Messiah was going to, when he kept talking about his kingdom and there's going to be a kingdom and a kingdom, they actually thought that he was going to build this army and this discipleship that will overtake Rome so they can have everything back. So they showed him the temple. Look at all of this. We're going to have it all. We're getting ready to take it. And they probably thought too, it's going down until their lives were shattered when he was taken into custody and they started to run and flee. In fact, they started to deny him. When they were pointed out, when Peter was pointed out and they said, there goes one of them right there, he started to curse. He acted like the Bible was, giving Bible scriptures was the furthest thing from Peter. But he was told that was going to happen. He was told. So when they came out and he showed them, he says, let me tell you all something. Not one stone will be setting on another. And they were kind of confused. And he no doubt talked about his return and the end of the world. So they asked him the question, when shall these things be? What should be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? Brothers and sisters, a few people storming the Capitol. The first, well, it's been since 1814 they did it, reportedly. It doesn't mean nothing. It means nothing. It means nothing at all. Nothing at all. What does this mean? What's next? Nothing. Nothing's next. At all. The world and the sign of thy coming. And he told us right there in the book, but we don't believe it. We don't see it. But we keep looking at every time a volcano happens, it's going down. Every time a few hurricanes come, it's going down. Every time a few forest fires happen, oh, it's going down. Let there be a tsunami, it's going down. Let it be the largest earthquake recorded in world history, it's going down. But although he tells you, let there be a big war, let somebody blow up something, let one of these countries invade somebody, it's going down. When he told you there's going to be wars and rumors of wars, there's going to be pestilence, there's going to be earthquakes and all of this stuff in diverse places, but the end is not yet. It's not yet. But then he told you, when you shall see the abomination of the desolation stand in the holy place, spoken by prophet Joel, then you're going to have 3.5 years tribulation. Brothers and sisters, they can storm the Capitol. It's not going down yet. They can fight each other. It's not going down yet. There can be a tsunami. It's not going down yet. I don't care what they blow up. I don't care what issues they have. I don't care what terrorist groups. It's not going down yet. It's not going down yet. And we have to stop putting ourselves in a frenzy as if something's going down. Now, those of you that have been following me for the past 4 years that I've been on this channel, you already know what I'm getting ready to say. I said it to folk then, I'm going to say it now. You're not getting reparations. It's not the 400 years. It's not happening. And I said it then, and people were like, that's blasphemy. That's false. Well, you put a date on it. And 2018, it didn't happen. 2019, it didn't happen. 2020, it didn't happen. Now you're into 2021, and it's still not going to happen. Why? Nothing's happening until the abomination of the desolation stands in the holy place. Y'all hit this like button when you come in. Let's build up this algorithm. Hit that like button, because we're going to talk about this thing for a few minutes. It's not happening, folks. I'm giving you the book. And you know what? I can give the book and there's going to be people still mad and upset. Why would you say that? I can't disappoint you. I can't change a book. I cannot change a book. He told you when to watch out for. He told you what sign to look out for. We keep looking at the wrong sign. I don't understand when somebody tells you, when you see the abomination of the desolation, and I think that everybody knows who the abomination of the desolation is. And I think everybody knows where the holy place is. And I think everybody knows and has read the book of Daniel that this person is going to think to change the times and the seasons and the laws, which they've already done it today, but they are not operating out of the holy place. When you see all of those elements, then it's simple. But yet for some reason, we're looking for something else. And I got to tell you, brothers and sisters, when they told you back in 2000, y'all remember 2000? Some of y'all were just learning how to tie your shoes in the year 2000. That it was supposed to be going down. Everything was supposed to stop. The computers were supposed to stop. Nothing was supposed to work. Everybody was buying MREs because it's going down. It gets so funny to me. It gets so funny to me. And when you see all of that, and you see people going in a frenzy all the time, in a frenzy. So what does all of that mean? That simply means the Capitol. It means the same thing that they did in 1814. They stormed the Capitol. But what about the plagues? What about the plagues? It means the same thing that happened in 1920. It's just a plague that the Most High has brought upon the earth. That's it. That's all it means. Get your house in order. That's all. That's all. Just get your house in order. Get in the book, get in his laws, his statutes, his commandments. Look at the book and do what you're supposed to do and get ready and watch for the sign that he gave you. When you shall see the abomination of the desolation stand in the holy place, then you need to watch out, because then it's going down. And it's going to be like a time like you've never seen before. You know, part of the problem is that we don't read history. And if you're like me, when I was in school, it was not one of my favorite subjects. It just wasn't. But when you read into history, could you imagine living in the 60s and the president and your civil rights leader gets killed, assassinated? You had one of the biggest 5%ers going on. You had the Nation of Islam going on. Come on. It's going down, brothers and sisters. You're going to have people come and go. But when you see that happen, you're going to have a 3.5-year tribulation. And then the scripture says, and immediately after the tribulation of those days, he's going to appear. That's Bible. That's Bible. So I just sit back. I'm really at ease. When I mean by I'm at ease, I look at the news. I'm not unfolding the scriptures and looking for something to happen and this and that, when it's not going to happen. But when that abomination and that temple gets built, and that abomination of the desolation starts to move over there, let me tell you something. You talking about scrambling? You talking about scrambling. And guess what? When I get ready to scramble, I won't be on YouTube. I'm going to be too busy scrambling. Because if you didn't get the message beforehand, then it's going to be too late. You see, you don't start packing your clothes. You fool around and try to go to this airport and just walk in. And you got to go through TSA. Fool around, you're going to miss the plane. So I'm getting everything in order now. I'm getting my house in order. This house right here. That's why the scripture says, whosoever readeth, let him read and understand, brothers and sisters. That's it. And you got to believe the scriptures. So what? A few thousand folks stormed the Capitol. So what? What did you learn from that? What you learn is that you're still in captivity. If you didn't know that you were still in captivity after watching that, because go up there and try to do a demonstration and see if you get that far. One thing I give this President-elect Biden credit for, he actually said, and I give him credit, he said, you know what? One thing we do know, if that was a Black Lives Movement, the stormtroopers and the long rifles would have been out. It would have been out. And what America is learning about themselves, all you got to read the book and you can know. America surprised itself. But this is what, when you're lost and you're not in the scriptures, you're not in the book, you will surprise yourself. You will not think. When you're in the flesh, anything is subject to happen. You shouldn't be surprised because somebody stormed the Capitol, and it was horrible what happened. It really was. It was horrible what happened. But what's even more horrible is that everybody thought it. It was in the back of everybody's mind. Those of you that was on social media, you knew that if that was a different movement and a different set of folk, that would not have happened. And what I saw was, well, we see some progress. You got a president-elect who gets up and says it. He gets up and says it. No, this ain't right. This is not right. But you know, you have a lot of that. And let me tell you something. I'm not really surprised and overshooken by that, because in the 60s, there was people who decided that, you know what, this is not right. Have y'all ever read about the Scottsboro Boys? Have you ever read about the Fab Five? These were students who were over in, I believe they were over in the Carolinas. They were young. And they said, you know what, this is not right. They were college students. And it's always that every now and then you get that young generation, which I believe we have now, that they start to look at things in a very progressive way. Thank God for them. And back in the 60s, there was a group of 5 young men. Some of them are still living today. And they went into a place called Woolworth. That would be equivalent to Walmart today. And they went in there to sit down at a restaurant where they could not eat, and they ate. But what a lot of us don't know, but it happened back then, all-white girl college, all-white girl college over there, they came out in March also. They came out in March. Just like they said, enough's enough. We got to stop this foolishness. We got to stop this. And politically, the pressure was there for them to pass the civil rights movement because those were voters. Those white college students were voters. And so the politicians said, you know what, we better stop fooling around with this and let the Constitution define itself. If it says that all man shall have the liberty and the pursuit of happiness, all man is all man, no matter what color you are. And so they passed it just to substantiate what was already written. So today you got the same thing, but I don't know why we're surprised and it's like it's going down. This is why a group of folk in the 60s moved to Israel, moved to Africa, really. That's where they went at. Because it was going down. Brothers and sisters, open up that book. Read, read, read. Don't psychoanalyze the book. Don't read into it. Just read exactly what it says. Matthew, the 24th chapter, can be no more clearer than what it states. It cannot be any more clearer. When they asked him, when shall these things be? When shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? He told them. Don't put nothing else onto it. If there was more to it that he wanted you to know, if there was more that you should look out for, he would have told you. He didn't. He told you. Go back and read Daniel. Look for the sign. That's it. So they can storm the Capitol. They can burn down the White House. Did you know that there was a group that in America history that tried to burn down the White House? Did you know that this is not the first time that the Capitol has been stormed? It's not the first time that we've had a plague in the world, a pandemic. It's not the first time. So, but when you're living in it, and it's in your era of time, you're inside the bowl. So you look at things internally, and it's difficult to be on the outside looking in. Well, if you want to be on the outside looking in, go read the book. That's all. Just go read the book. If you go read the book will tell you. Somebody says, remember the Tea Party? Yes. I can't see the comments, but when they sometimes they pop up. Yeah, y'all remember the Tea Party? Brothers and sisters, get in the book. Read the book. The Messiah told us when the end of the world and the sign of these things are going to be. It will behoove you to know who the abomination of the desolation is. It will behoove for you to know where is that holy place that he was talking about. It would behoove you to know that when he returns, He's going to come after. He's going to be looking for those that have kept the commandments and kept the faith. It will behoove you to know what are the commandments that I need to keep. That's what it will behoove you. And it will behoove you to know that there is a place of safety. He talks about it. He talks about it. That's a different lesson at a different time. So what I'm sharing with you today is just simply get in the book. That's all. Now let me just say this few things about reparations. They've been talking about reparations since I was in high school. They've been talking about reparations when I was in college. They was talking about reparations when I first moved to Florida. They've been talking about reparations. This is not the first time reparations has been on the table. I can tell you, brothers and sisters, you're not getting reparations. It's not going to happen. America is not going to single out one group other than the Indians and give you something. They're not going to do it. If they were going to do it, they would have done it when they gave it to the Indians. Okay? In Florida, the Indians get almost like $4,000, $5,000 a month per child. Per child. That's why you see them with a bunch of children. In South Florida, you see Indians driving Range Rovers and everything else. I got a place that is, I can throw a rock from my house and hit something called the Hard Rock Cafe, owned by the Indians. They built a big old hotel recently. It just opened several months ago. It's shaped like a big guitar because they bought Hard Rock. They brought the brand to it. And you go over there, and the Indians over there, they living good because they get $4,000 or $5,000 a month per child. You're not going to get that. When they told us they didn't have the money, y'all remember Bernie Sanders? We don't have the money. Where will we get the money from? This is impossible. I mean, how do we go about giving out money to people? How do we identify them? They know who you are. They know exactly who you are. And when he said we didn't have the money, look at the debt that we're in. But yet, all of a sudden, $600 went into everybody's account. Everybody that filed income tax, $600 went into your account. It don't matter if you owed or not. If you owed money to IRS, it didn't matter. If you filed, you got $600 per person went into your account. And if it's not there, it's coming. Now look at how many people are in America that file income tax. Go look at the individual returns and the joint returns, and then go to IRS. It will tell you. Just Google how many people file income tax. Multiply that number by 600. Off and make it 1,000, because this ain't the first time that they gave a stimulus check. This is not the first time. You remember Obama gave a stimulus check. This presidency, they gave 2. Okay, so just for ha-has, multiply it by $1,000 and see how much money that they could have given 12% of the population, which is you and I, who are the African descendants of slaves. They're not going to do it. They'll tell you they don't have the money. But the money's there. All they got to do is print it. And don't even have to give me no money. Just tell me I don't have to pay income tax no more. Just tell me I don't have to pay my student loans anymore. That's reparations for me. Tell me that I can get everybody that came through that are children of slaves. You are eligible to get a loan with 0% interest. That's reparations to me, but they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it because you're not getting reparations, brothers and sisters. It's not going to happen. But they found the money. And statistically, you can go to several government websites and they would tell you. Go to IRS, they can tell you. Among African Americans in the United States who are supposed to pay taxes, only 60% pay an actual, do a tax return. 3 years consecutively. Only 60% would do it 3 years consecutively. Half of those people skip years. So think about it. And there's no reason why not. It's not that they owe the government. They just don't file an income tax. I didn't file. They just missed the deadline. Just don't file. And so you owe so much, the government don't even come after you. But because you did not file, you're not going to get that $600. So even in the stimulus package, we still get the short end of the stick. Why? Because that's just a part of the curses. It's a part of the curses. So everybody just talking about 400 years and it's going down and we're going to get reparations and they're going to do this. Stop it. Okay? It's 2021. Y'all remember in 2019, that was a hype. Just 2 years ago, it was a hype. But Nancy Pelosi said that it's the 400-year anniversary and she went to Ghana. She can go to the moon and they can proclaim it. The Lord said, nobody will redeem you. He said, I will gather you when I return. Other than that, you're not going to be gathered. You're not going nowhere. You can move to Africa. You got a passport. All you got to do is go. You can move to Africa right now. But if you think that everybody in the United States that are Hebrews, that are people of the book, is all of a sudden they're going to just start putting you on planes and sending you up out of here to Africa because of reparations of 400 years, you are... Listen, I said it in 2019, I said it in 2020, and I'm going to say it in 2021. It's not going to happen. What's going to happen is the scriptures. He said, I will gather you when I return. He hadn't returned. When is it going to return? After the tribulation. When is the tribulation? How long is the tribulation? It's for 3.5 years. And it's when the abomination of the desolation. It's when Rome sets in Jerusalem. It's just that simple. And somebody might be saying, well, you know, that's false. And you can't teach it. I'm teaching a book. You can't be mad at me. You can be mad at the book, but you can't be mad at me. You can't be mad at Pastor Johnson. Because I'm giving you book, I'm giving you chapter, and I'm giving you verse. Read Zechariah. I'm going to gather you. Read all the prophets. I will gather you one by one when I return. Other than that, you're not being gathered nowhere. Malcolm didn't do it. Marcus Garvey didn't do it. Martin didn't do it. Malcolm didn't do it. None of them folks did it. Why? Because it don't fit the script. If it don't fit the script, treat it like they did O.J. Simpson. If it don't fit, you must acquit. It's just that simple, brothers and sisters. It don't fit. Things that people are saying does not fit the scriptures. It might be a little tweak here and a little tweak there and a little this and a little that. No, it's got to be exactly what the Messiah said. You're going to, all of this stuff is just sorrows. But the end is not yet. It's just that simple. So, what's next? I'm going to tell you what's next. You better start getting in that book. Better start looking to that book and scriptures. Put line upon precept, line upon line, precept upon precept. Go back and forth to that book. Make 2021 a year that you're going to read and open up that book. You're going to sit down and start reading and putting things in proper perspective. Reading and start putting things in sequential order. Reading and start putting things in chronological order. And stop it. That's what you need to do for 2021. That's what we're doing on this channel. If it ain't in the book, if the Bible don't say it, if we don't read it, we don't believe it. And when everybody was upset with me in 2019, and there was a lot of people, I'm telling you, I said, listen, you guys, I'm telling you, August is going to roll around and ain't nothing going to happen. How can you say that? I mean, people was like, I mean, really, it was so funny they were so upset with me. How can you say that? Can't you see what the president just did? He just gave a plaque and said he just recognized the 400 year. Okay? I don't care what he does. I don't care what. But Nancy Pelosi went over to Ghana and she gave a speech recognizing the 400 year anniversary. I don't care. So August rolled around, nothing happened. The end of August, 2019. And I said, listen, 2020 is going to roll around, you all. Nothing's going to happen. No, you're going to see. You're going to see. Well, we're going to see. But guess what? We saw. Nothing happened. Then 2020 came. It rolled around, brothers and sisters. And I'm still steadily reading the book. I'm still reading what the Messiah said. All of this, the end is not yet. When you should see the abomination of the desolation stand in the holy place, I continue to read it. I'm going to read it all in 21. I'm going to keep reading that book. And when it didn't happen, I said, listen, Passover's going to come around in 2020 and y'all going to be sitting there still looking at each other. No, that's when we leaving. We leaving because it's going to be just like a Passover. It's going to be a similitude of what happened. And we're leaving. We're leaving out of Egypt. America is Babylon. And I'm not saying it's not a part of Babylon. But what I'm telling you is Passover 2020 ran around. Then somebody said it's going to be during the Feast of Trumpets. That rolled around, but then they said it was going to be August because that's when the 400 year is, because when you subtract 1619 from 2019, it was only 399 years. So I gave you the benefit of the doubt, although I was reading the book. When it came back around, guess what? August came, you still ain't gone nowhere. You still haven't got any reparations. The Feast of Tabernacles came, you still haven't gotten around. This man's New Year done rolled around, you still not going to get it. And it's in 2021 where they stormed the Capitol. They can storm the Capitol, they can burn the White House, they can do whatever they want. They can have a civil war. But until the abomination of the desolation stand in the holy place, I don't care what goes down. You haven't seen a time like that's going to be when that happens. And until that happens, brothers and sisters, guess what? You can sit there and just twiddle your thumbs, okay? Because it's not happening. You're not getting reparations. It's not going down. So what's next? Keep reading that book and look for the sign that the Messiah himself gave you. And he gave it to you in a few short verses that is so clear and plain that if you was to read it to Stevie Wonder or Ray Charles, they can get it. Come on, y'all. Stop. All right. I just wanted to do that. I just want to give y'all that little bit today because I'm going to go in there and watch this football. In the meantime, y'all keep getting your MREs and doing all of that. I'm waiting for that abomination of the desolation stand in the holy place. And when that happens, phew, see you later. I'm going to the wilderness. I'm going to the place of safety. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High, you ain't got nothing to worry about. You'll see 1,000 fall on one side, 10,000 on another, arrows of fire over your head, but not one arrow, not one hair of your head is going to be touched. I'm going to stay in the secret place of the Most High. Peace and blessings and safety to all of you all. Continue to rest and abide in this word. We'll talk to you later.